Imagine yourself in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Nothing around you but water. Hundreds of miles in every direction. No city lights, no coastline. No one to hear you if something goes wrong. Then, on the horizon, a ship appears. It isn't sinking. It isn't a wreck. Its sails are still catching the wind. The vessel is moving. But something is wrong.
There is nobody on deck.
You signal the ship. No answer. You move closer. Still nothing. Eventually, men are sent across to investigate. They climb aboard, search the deck, enter the cabins, look below, and discover something extraordinary. There isn't a single person aboard. No injured sailor, no captain, no bodies, nobody hiding below deck. The entire ship is deserted. And this is not a fictional ghost story. It happened in 1872. The ship was the Mary Celeste.
And every person who had been traveling aboard her disappeared.
All 10 of them. And more than 150 years later, no final explanation has ever established precisely why they left their ship or what happened to them afterward. The story begins in New York. November 7th, 1972. The American-registered merchant brigantine Mary Celeste departed across the Atlantic to Genoa, Italy. Her captain was Benjamin Spooner Briggs, an experienced mariner. This was not simply a commercial voyage for Briggs. His wife, Sarah, was aboard too. So was their approximately 2-year-old daughter, Sophia. 7 crewmen completed the company. 10 human beings in total.
Taking his wife and young daughter across the Atlantic suggests Briggs had confidence in his ship.
Exactly. Briggs was an experienced captain. There is no good evidence that he was reckless or irrational. And the cargo aboard Mary Celeste becomes extremely important later. The hold contained roughly 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, valuable cargo, but also material capable of producing dangerous vapors. When, on the horizon, Morehouse's crew noticed a vessel in the distance, its movement looked wrong. The sails were strangely arranged, its course was erratic, and nobody could be seen on deck. They approached, they hailed the vessel. No response. Morehouse sent men across to investigate. Among them were Oliver DeVoe and John Wright. As they approached the stern, they could read the name, Mary Celeste.
And this is where the legend begins.
They climbed aboard. Nothing. They searched. Nobody. Captain Briggs was gone. Sarah was gone. Little Sophia was gone. All 7 sailors were gone. But Mary Celeste was not a destroyed ship. There was damage to sails and rigging. Water had entered the vessel, but not enough to explain an obviously sinking wreck. One of her 2 pumps was partly dismantled. A sounding rod, the tool used to determine the amount of water below, was found nearby.
So perhaps Briggs thought his ship was taking on dangerous amounts of water.
Remember that possibility because it becomes crucial. Another object was missing, Mary Celeste's small boat. The captain's navigation instruments and important ship papers were also gone. That combination strongly suggests something. The people aboard Mary Celeste may not have simply vanished without warning. They appear to have deliberately left the ship.
Which creates the real mystery. Why?
Exactly. Because abandoning a seaworthy ship in the open Atlantic is an extraordinary decision. Many personal belongings remained aboard. Most of the valuable cargo remained. There was no obvious evidence of a pirate attack. No bodies, no convincing scene of mass violence. A sword remained in Briggs's cabin, but the boarding party saw no clear evidence that a murder had occurred. We have the ship, we have the cargo, We have provisions. The one thing we do not have are the people. What about mutiny? That became one of the early suspicions. After Di Grazia's men sailed Mary Celeste to Gibraltar, a salvage court began examining the strange case. The Attorney General of Gibraltar, Frederick Solly Flood, became deeply suspicious that a crime had occurred. Perhaps the crew murdered Briggs and his family. Perhaps the salvagers from Di Grazia were somehow involved. Perhaps the entire thing was insurance fraud. Investigators looked for evidence, but the dramatic theories never produced a convincing solution. The hearings ended without establishing what happened to the missing people.
Pirates?
Possible in imagination, much harder to reconcile with the evidence. Why leave valuable cargo behind? Why leave no convincing evidence of attack? And the famous theory that the sailors drank the alcohol and mutinied has never been supported by strong evidence either. Most of the alcohol cargo remained intact. A small number of barrels were later found empty, consistent with leakage or damage, while the overwhelming majority remained full.
Which brings us to the alcohol vapor theory.
Yes. Imagine vapor leaking from the barrels into the hold. Perhaps someone hears a disturbing sound. Perhaps there is pressure. Perhaps a flash or small explosion. Captain Briggs does not have to believe the ship is already doomed. He only needs to believe that a larger explosion could happen at any moment. The order could be simple. Into the boat, stay close to Mary Celeste, wait until the danger becomes clear. If she stays afloat, return aboard. It's an attractive theory, but investigators found no evidence of a destructive fire aboard Mary Celeste. That long seemed to weaken the explosion hypothesis. Then, more than 100 years later, chemistry made the possibility more interesting. In 2006, University College London chemist Andrea Sella conducted an experiment for a documentary using a model hold and combustible gas. He produced a powerful pressure wave type explosion without the kind of burning and soot people might expect. It did not prove that such an explosion occurred aboard Mary Celeste, but it demonstrated that the absence of obvious scorching does not automatically eliminate every vapor explosion scenario.
And then there is the pump.
Possibly the most important clue aboard the entire ship. One pump was partly dismantled. Mary Celeste had previously carried coal and had undergone substantial refitting. Modern investigators proposed that coal dust or construction debris could have interfered with the pumping system. Now imagine Briggs after days of heavy weather. Water is entering the vessel. The cargo fills the hold, preventing him from simply looking down and seeing exactly how much water is there. His pump isn't functioning properly. His ability to measure the danger is compromised. And there may have been another problem. Researchers reconstructing Mary Celeste's route using historical weather information proposed that Briggs may have been 120 miles west of where he believed himself to be, possibly because of an inaccurate chronometer. He had expected land earlier. Then, after difficult weather, Santa Maria finally appeared.
So now the pieces fit together differently. He has his wife and 2-year-old daughter aboard. He's been fighting heavy weather. He may not trust his position. The pump is compromised, and he doesn't know exactly how serious the flooding is.
Correct. Now imagine, only as a reconstruction, not an established fact, that Briggs gives an order that seems reasonable. Everyone into the small boat. Stay close to Mary Celeste. Perhaps attach the boat to the ship with a line. Wait until the danger becomes clear. If she stays afloat, return aboard.
And then the line breaks.
Or comes loose, or a wave strikes the boat, or the wind suddenly fills Mary Celeste's sails. The large ship begins moving. The small boat cannot match her. The 10 people row after her. They shout. They try desperately to close the distance, but the gap increases. 10 meters, 50, 100, and eventually, Mary Celeste sails away without them. Beyond her, a continent. If that happened, the last terrible thing they may have watched was their own ship disappearing over the horizon. And that possibility may be more frightening than any supernatural explanation, because it requires no ghost, no sea monster, no unknown creature, just one rational decision made at the exact wrong moment. But we have to be precise. We do not know that this happened. The fate of the boat and its occupants remains unknown. None of those 10 people was ever conclusively recovered or heard from again.
So, what about the famous version of the story? Food still sitting on the table, everything perfectly arranged, people apparently vanishing in the middle of a meal?
That leads to another fascinating part of this mystery: how a real event became a legend. In 1884, a young writer named Arthur Conan Doyle, before Sherlock Holmes made him famous, published a fictional story inspired by Mary Celeste. It was called J. Habakkuk Jeffson's Statement. Its realistic style helped blur the boundary between documented history and fiction. Even the incorrect name Marie Celeste became widely repeated. Newspapers, films, and later storytellers added more details: meals, mysterious objects, dramatic signs, and instantaneous disappearance. Many of those details were not part of the documented discovery.
So the genuine version is less supernatural, but perhaps even more disturbing.
Because the authentic mystery doesn't need embellishment. 10 people departed New York aboard Mary Celeste. Days later, the ship continued without them, and when another crew climbed aboard, the Atlantic had already taken the answer. Mary Celeste herself survived the event. She returned to service. Years later, in 1885, she was deliberately wrecked near Haiti as part of an attempted insurance fraud, an entirely separate episode from the mystery of 1872.
The ship survived the mystery. The people didn't.
And perhaps that is why Mary Celeste refuses to disappear from history. Not because we have proof that the ship was haunted, not because we know something impossible happened aboard her, but because we possess the beginning of the story and its ending. The middle is missing. Maybe alcohol vapor frightened the crew. Maybe the pump failed. Maybe Briggs believed his ship was in danger of sinking. Maybe the boat remained attached for a few minutes until a single rope separated 10 people from their only real chance of survival. Or perhaps something happened that none of our theories has reconstructed correctly.
So imagine yourself as Benjamin Briggs. Heavy seas behind you, a damaged or unreliable pump, water somewhere below, your wife beside you, your 2-year-old daughter aboard, land visible in the distance. You cannot be certain your ship will remain afloat. Do you stay? Or do you order everyone into the boat?
One decision, perhaps only a few seconds, and that may have been all the Atlantic needed to transform Mary Celeste into the most famous abandoned ship in maritime history. Because sometimes, the most frightening mysteries are not the ones in which we know what killed everyone. They're the ones where we know the people were there, and then they were gone.